The construction industry is very diverse. You will find people with many different skills on a construction site. Builders and carpenters, plasterers and tilers, electricians and plumbers. Different hazards and risks emerge every day, and keeping the site safe is made more complicated by the high turnover of workers. The presence of contractors and subcontractors who may be there for only a short time before they move on to another site, and the different machinery and equipment required. To be permitted to undertake workplace learning on a construction site, you must first complete a general occupational health and safety construction induction provided by a registered training organisation. WorkSafe Victoria will then issue you with a construction induction card. This applies to all students.
My name's Gavin, I work for Tim Leach Construction. I'm in the Structured Workplace Learning. Structured Workplace Learning is introducing me to the construction industry.
We do steel frames and only steel frames, and Gavin's is quite proficient in building steel frame constructions. This is a tri-storey development. We're normally doing multi-unit developments.
Anyone who comes on site needs to go through a safety induction. That's explaining all the site rules to the person, any hazards we find on the site, knowing where the toilets are, knowing where first aid is.
In this industry we have a thing called PPE, which stands for personal protective equipment, such as hard hats, safety glasses, earmuffs, our clothing, steel cap boots, that kind of thing we've got to wear at all times. I protect myself from the sun by wearing hats, sunglasses and sunscreen. Sunburn's not really the best thing to have, could get skin cancer.
In the lunchroom we put up a whiteboard that has, we put the hazards on it, the site hazard. When we finish with that particular hazard we can wipe it off and put the new one on. As we find new ones we put them on.
The hazards on the work site are mainly tripping hazards and falling objects, so that's why I got my hard hat on.
Well, a lot of the major concerns on this site is falling from heights. That's probably one of our major hazards that we have here. Obviously being a tri-storey development, we've had to erect a lot of stairwell voids in there, ensuring that the workers don't fall down.
There's always that potential you could fall. Just got to watch where you're stepping. You got to make sure, try not to drop stuff.
What we've got in place up the top on this one is handrail, prevent the guys going over the edge, and as we get further on in it we're going to scaffold the whole thing.
On this site I mainly work with steel.
You wear gloves to prevent injuries on your hand, but every time you rub up against the steel, you cut your arm, your leg. When the guys run out their electrical leads and their tools and that, when they run over the steel frame, they can electrify the frame if there's a fault with the lead, and the next person to touch it could be electrocuted. When
using ladders on this site, the rule is you've got to have 3 points of contact, 2 feet and 1 hand on the ladder. You've got 1 free hand to work with. The safety precautions you have to take on a ladder are how high you can stand. You can't stand on the top or the second step. Make sure all the feet are on a nice level surface. We go about lifting objects, heavy objects such as beams and timber. We carry them in sets of either 2 or 3 of us, depending on how heavy the object is. Bend our knees, put it up on our shoulders and make sure there's no objects on the ground to trip over.
It doesn't have to be heavy, it can be an awkward shape. You either need, a machine to pick it up, you need other people to help. It's just a matter of looking at it and working where you're going to put it.
It's important for me to fully understand what I am doing because I may end up injuring myself or someone else. If I don't know anything, I'll straight away ask the boss or one of the older boys.
Let's review some of the occupational health and safety hazards of the construction industry. They are manual handling, falls, electricity, structural collapse, plant and machinery, powered and hand tools, and hazardous chemicals. If you would like more information about safety in construction, talk to your teacher or employer.